So first I want to show the network settings of my VMs. I have created 3 VMs as mentioned in the question, VM3, VM2 and 1. So on VM2 I have installed my database, the MySQL database. VM1 I have my Spring Boot application running on Tomcat web server, and VM3 is just a client which is trying to access the web application. Okay, so first I'll start with VM2 where I have my database. I can show you the security thing here, security configuration. So I have enabled the SSH. The reason is I'm connecting to this host using SSH, so that's why I have enabled SSH. And then I have allowed the traffic from the web server host to connect to this database VM, sorry, on this port 3306. Okay, so I have added a security group accordingly, so that the wave where I have the VM where I have my web application running, that can connect to this database which is on VM2. Okay, so this is my security configuration. Okay, apart from that we can see here the network configuration. Okay, so this is the public IP, this is the VPC ID, the virtual private cloud, this is the private IP. Okay, and this is the subnet on which this is VM got created, availability zone, and all these things. Okay, so now I'll go to this host. And show you the remaining configurations, network configurations. So not this one second. So this is my second host. Okay, so you can see here on this configuration file, when I'm running cat command, so I can see DHCP4 is true. It means this server can get a IPv4 address using this DHCP4 server. DHCP6 is by default is disabled. Okay, we don't need DHCP6 IP address for any use case here. Okay, and then we can also see the routes here, IP route, so these are the routes. Okay, and IP address. So okay, so here we can see the IP address of the system and the range of IP address which are allowed on this network. Okay, so this is the network settings for VM2. Similarly, we can go and show the network settings for VM1 also. VM1 where I have my Tomcat running. So for that I can run similar commands. So again here we can see DHCP4 is true and DHCP6 is false. This is the network interface name. Okay, and then IP route, we can again show the route here for this VM. Okay, these are the routes, and then after route we can see the range of IP address and the IP address for the host. So here it is. Okay, so this is the basic network configuration for this host where I have the Tomcat server running. Okay, web application, Spring Boot web application. Now I can go to VM3, which is just a client for the web server, web application. So here already I have triggered this, executed this command ipconfig. Okay, so we can see the details here, the network configuration based on this. Okay, the inet, this is the private IP address of the EC2 host, the VM. Okay, so that's the network configuration for these 3 hosts. Now I can go back and show you the security group configuration. Okay, security group configuration I already showed for this host where I have database. Now I am going to show for this this VM where I have my uh, web application running on Tomcat. Okay, so these are the default network settings, like I have public IPv4 address, private IPv4 VPC, then the public IPv4 DNS name using which we can access the application, subnet ID. The subnet should be same for all the three VMs, and the availability zone is also same. Okay, and the security group. So for inbound rules, we have two inbound rules allowed here. The one is the SSH, so that I can connect to this host and run the commands. The second one is the configuration where the traffic is allowed only from the cloud, only from the VM, which is VM3. Okay, so we can access the web application only from the VM3 because we are going to show a demo that we are able to connect to the web application from VM3. Okay, so that's why this inbound rule I have added here. Okay, so outbound rules are the default rules. I have not done any changes on the outbound rules. Okay, so this is the traffic network configuration for 1 and 2. We discussed now about 1 and 2, and for 3 I have the default security group rules. Okay, so let me show you. So SSH I need so that I can log into the host, and then in outbound rules I have allowed we can get the traffic, okay, on this host, like anyone can connect. It's a default outbound rule. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go to first this VM where I have my database running. Okay, so VM2. Okay, so here I have my database running, so I will just run mysql hyphen use sudo command, sudo mysql hyphen u root hyphen u, what is saying? Okay, sorry, the second argument should be p. Okay, so I'll enter my password. So I'm connected to the MySQL. Now I'm using the database which I have created, profile DB. Okay, so on this profile DB I will run the command to show tables. Okay, so I have created one table where we are inserting and fetching the data. So right now select star from profile DB. Oh sorry, the table name is profile, not profile DB. Okay, so I can see there are two entries. Okay, now I'll go back to the instance where I have my Tomcat running. Okay, so here first I want to see if my Tomcat is running or not, so I can run ls of -i 8080. So I can see my Tomcat is running with this process ID. Okay, and I can stop the Tomcat and then start it once again. So I'll do kill -9 4989. So I kill the process. Now I'll start the Tomcat. So for starting the Tomcat I have this command, So with this command, the Tomcat will run in the background with a Spring Boot application deployed on it. Okay, so you can see the new Tomcat like started on this with this process ID. Now we can see the log. Okay, so app.log, you can see app.log. So we can see Tomcat started on this port. Okay, so it's connecting to database Hikari pool starting, which is a database pool, data source pool. So we are able to connect to database. Now what I will do is first I will show one more command where we can see the Tomcat is running. We'll confirm it once again. So you can see here the Tomcat is running. Okay, and next is I want to hit a request from the local host and check if you are able to connect to the application. Okay, so I'll just run this curl command from here and see what is coming. Okay, so we can see the two rows which were there in the database. We can see here ID and name, ID and name. Okay, so from from the same VM where we have installed our web application and web server, we are able to connect to the application from the same VN localhost, and we are able to fetch the data from the database. Okay, so that is one thing. And next what I want to do is I want to go to the VM3, which is a client VM, and from here I want to insert some data and then fetch it again. Okay, so for inserting, let's say I am inserting here my name with my roll number. Okay, and I'm going to try this. Okay, so we can see it got inserted. Now I can insert it once again with a different value. Okay, I'll put here okay, I edited let me one second. Okay, so now I'll go and edit this to insert a different record. So let's say instead of Cloud Roshan, I just edited and I'm making it as Cloud. Okay, so I'll insert. Okay, there is some mistake in the query. I will paste it again. Okay, I will make it Cloud. Okay, so it got inserted. Here we can see. So now we are able to insert the data. So next step is we'll try to fetch that. Okay, so for fetching the data, what we are going to do is we are going to run this command like this curl, and then I'll just run this. Okay, so it should show all the data which is inserted, which we have inserted till now in the database. Okay, so we can see these names, right? 2, 3 and 4. These are the data which we inserted till now in the database. Okay, so I showed here how to insert data to the database and how to fetch the inserted data back from the VM3. Okay, if we'll go back to the VM where I have the tables, I can run the query. and I can see there whatever data we inserted, it got inserted. Okay, so let me go back to the question once again. So our question is create 3 VMs and Linux version. So we are using Linux version, hypervisor, and then we created 3 VMs, install web server, okay, that Spring Boot Tomcat web server, install in database, installed MySQL. Now create a dummy web application to insert a data record in database and display it. Okay, so that is also done, inserting and then displaying it. Accessible from VM role number 3 and the host system web browser. Okay, so this host from VM role number 3 we are able to access this application. Okay, here showing the network configuration of all the VMs. So I'm already done. Accessing web application from VM role number 3, that is also done. Accessing web application from the host application, that is also done. Okay, so on VM role number 3, right now I do not have the browser. Okay, so I use the console. Okay, I use the command line to show the so that I'm able to connect from this VM, okay, to the application. Okay, so this is VM3 and I showed that from the command line I am able to connect to the application. Okay, so that's all. I have covered all the things. From VM3 also we are able to connect to the application. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.